Hey there. I'm excited to announce this to you today. This is what you've been waiting for in your spiritual quest. This is something I've wanted to do for a long time, and I'm finally ready to announce it that it's ready to go. It's the Grief to Growth Community Circle. Now, this is a sanctuary where like-minded souls are united in their journey through grief and towards personal transformation. It's more than just a place. It's a beginning. It's a commitment to growth and understanding. Here you're finding not just a community, but you're entering a circle of trust and depth. You're going to engage with interactive coursework. You'll dive into exclusive podcast episodes and partake in discussions that illuminate the path from mourning to empowerment. This is a realm where every question is honored and every individual's journey is validated. To be part of this exclusive circle, visit us at grieftogrowth.com/community or look for the chat icon at the bottom of every page on the main website. Remember that entry is a privilege because I want to ensure that every member is as dedicated and genuine as you are. You must apply to join, but the journey within is worth every step. So go ahead and join us today. Check it out, grieftogrowth.com/community, and I look forward to seeing you there.
Hi there. Welcome to Grief to Growth podcast. Your host is Brian Smith, spiritual seeker, best-selling author, grief survivor, and life coach. Brian believes that the worst tragedies of life provide the greatest opportunity for growth. Brian says he was planted, not buried, and he is here to help you grow where you've been planted by the difficulties in life. In each episode, Brian and his guests will share what has helped them to survive and thrive. It is his sincere hope this episode helps you today.
Wanted to let you know when we get started, this is basically a two-part episode. Judi takes us through 10 tips to stay centered during any time, especially during times of crisis. That's the first hour and 13 minutes or so of the episode, which I do highly recommend. And then we take a break, and she takes us out, and she tells us about her energy centering meditation, which you can do at any time. So if you want to save this, you can go back to that point where we go out onto the deck, and you can do that meditation with Judi and change your own words and kind of do it any way you want. But I wanted to make this whole thing available to you. You can break it up in chunks as you listen to it. I think it's a wonderful episode. I hope you enjoy it. Hey, everybody. This is Brian Smith back with another episode of Grief to Growth. And today I've got with me Judith Hancox. For those of you who are familiar with Helping Parents Heal, you might know Irene Vuvalides, and this is Irene's sister. I'm going to introduce Judi, and we're going to talk about healing today and how we can get through this crisis that we're going through. We're recording this on April 10th of 2020. We're in the height of the corona pandemic, the coronavirus. So we're going to talk about some things that we can do with that. First, I want to introduce Judi and tell you a little bit about her background. Judi has been a yoga meditation teacher since 1980. She's a clinical social worker and trauma recovery specialist since 1990. And Judi trademarked the Shiome Therapy, which uses holistic methods that synergistically combine ancient wisdom with current science to help accelerate the healing process and spiritual awareness. Judi has also created an energy centering meditation with therapeutic-grade EOs to quickly connect to spirit and balance our energy body. Judi's worked with Dr. Craig Hogan, the founder of the Afterlife Education and Research Institute, to train licensed therapists in repair and reattachment grief therapy. And our RRGT is what's called. It's helpful for transition trauma, which is the term that's been coined for parents whose children have transitioned. So Judi's worked extensively with Helping Parents Heal, which I mentioned earlier. And if you listen to the program before, you know that I work with them as well. So with that, I want to welcome Judi Hancox.
Thank you, Brian.
Judi, it's great to have you back. And for anybody that listens to the show, you can go back. I'll put the episode in the show notes. I didn't look up the episode, but Judi's been on before, and we did an excellent episode on healing in general. And today we want to be a little bit more specific and talk about some techniques that you can use.
Yes. Last time we talked about trauma recovery and going into that with the brain and all and what happens in trauma. But right now with what's going on, I wanted to create peace in this pandemic and use more of the skills that I learned in yoga and meditation, because it's just essential right now. It's essential. So I kind of created these top 10 tips for body, mind, and spirit that are simple, simple and daily and a ritual. So I wanted to give, I have so many masters that have influenced me and I love, but I have a couple quotes. like Albert Einstein, who said, when the solution is simple, God is answering.
I like that. Yeah.
And I love that because it really comes down to simplicity. And living on earth is tough. The Buddha said, when on earth, pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty interesting because, we all suffer pain and we all go through our times now. There are a lot of people suffering. And it's a choice of focus, but it's also spiritual understanding who we really are and why we're really here. And if we do these top 10 tips, we don't have to suffer. We really don't have to. We might go through pain, yes, and we might have challenges, and we all have challenges. But if we can stay peaceful, it's our greatest strength. In fact, that's a mantra that Deepak Chopra chose one day when we were meditating with him, that peace is my greatest strength. Because physically, these top 10 tips are for body, mind, which can't be separated. Body, mind is one. Mm-hmm. And spirit, it's all one. And peace makes you strong physically, makes your muscles strong. When you muscle test, if you know anything about applied kinesiology, a type of science from Dr. George Goodhart, he was a chiropractor, and he helped people understand, his students, that your muscles, your body never lies. There's a book, Your Body Doesn't Lie, John Diamond. But your muscles stay strong for the truth, for peace, for uplifting thoughts, positive thoughts, and your muscles automatically weaken in a nanosecond. They automatically weaken with a negative thought or chaos and stress and adrenaline and all that. That weakens our whole system. Mm-hmm. So that's my other quote. Leonardo da Vinci, if I'm reading How to Think Like Leonardo da Vinci, and there's Michael Gelb is his name, and there's another book, Discovering the Spiritual Secrets of Leonardo's 7 Principles. And this I thought was really interesting and apropos for what I'm talking about, because he said, whoever would see how the soul dwells in the body, let them observe how the body uses its daily habitation. For it is, if it's without order and confused, the body will be kept in disorder and confusion by the soul. See, everything is energy. It comes down to energy.
Yeah.
And mind becomes matter. Candace Pert is another favorite, Molecules of Emotion. If anyone knows about Candace Pert, Dr. Pert just passed away recently too. She talks about the neuropeptides and how the neurons in the brain and how the neuropeptides go through the body with the cell receptors, and how everything works electromagnetically, and how body-mind is one, how the mind literally, physically is created. The body's created by the mind. That's so significant because we talk about a lot. It seems like trite, you are what you think and all that. But it's truth is that we are a manifestation of our thoughts, intentions, and our energy creates matters in our life. And
I think it's a really important point, Judi, because I think most of us think materially first, right? So we think of the body, and then the body creates the mind. The mind is it comes out of the body, as derivative of the body, and so therefore, when the body dies, the mind dies, of course, and that the body is controlling everything. So this is kind of a really kind of flipping that on its head, where we're saying that it's the mind that actually created the body, and consciousness creates what's all material around us.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hey there, something I want to tell you about today. My podcast platform, Buzzsprout, has recently made it easier for me to allow you to support me financially. Go to www.grieftogrowth.com/subscribe. That's grief2growth.com/subscribe. And once you're there, you can sign up to support me financially. Now, you can do it for as little as $3 a month, or of course, as much as you'd like. If you do that, you'll get access to bonus episodes, and you'll see those in the regular feed. They'll have a lock on them. But when you become a subscriber, you'll actually get access to your own private feed, and you'll be able to listen to the regular podcast along with the bonus podcast for the subscribers. I want to thank you for listening. I want to thank you for sharing the podcast. And I want to thank those of you who support me financially. Have a great day, and on to the episode.
Exactly. And it's so powerful. We are so powerful. We have no idea because we're not taught. We are born to ignorant people, most of us. A few realized masters, the masters knew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's only a handful, and the Bhagavad Gita says, out of all of the world, there are only a handful of people who know the truth. So those who strive to learn the truth benefit and get strong and can withstand this pandemic because...
Yeah, and one of the things I've observed about the pandemic, as we've been going through it for about a month now, is that this feeling that it's really easy to take on, I guess, of helplessness. This virus is all around us. It's all powerful. It's out there to get us. It's going to attack us. We have to pretend or not pretend, but it's in our homes, right? It's in every package we bring in. It's on our groceries. It's every time it's just there, right?
It's hyper awareness.
Yeah.
And, it brings new meaning to going viral. Everyone thought, going viral is good, but
yeah,
that's not what going viral is. It's an energy that's everywhere.
Exactly.
So it didn't pass me by that this is Good Friday, for the Christians,
Mm-hmm.
also Passover.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And, Jesus said about peace passes all understanding. It's the peace that passes all understanding, the peace that passes all understanding. You can't understand it with your brain and your limited mind, but the greater mind just gets it. Your soul knows already. And
Mm-hmm.
the soul, once we align ourselves with the soul, then everything seems to flow. And everything is flowing in a positive direction. It's when we get stuck, traumatized, scared, adrenaline rushes, that's when our energy stills, it gets stuck, and it can reverse, which where disease comes in.
Mm-hmm.
when we're going backwards, we're going away from the light instead of going towards the light. So I'll talk about that a little bit with the energy centering meditation that I do.
Yeah.
So crisis is an opportunity. In Chinese medicine and in the symbols, it's a double-edged sword. It's a cross sword. And the symbol of crisis is like this, two swords, where we can go all the way up. It's an opportunity to go high, very, very high, or go down into the depths of hell or the heights of heaven, so to speak, but
Mm-hmm.
in polarity. So, adrenaline and fear stimulate oxidants in our body, the rusting of our body, the dis-ease causing stuff in our body. And prayer is, an antioxidant.
Hmm.
And thank you is a prayer, just being grateful. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's really profound what you just said. That prayer is an antioxidant, because we're always looking for these things we can take from the outside, but this is something that can come from the inside.
Yes, it decreases the oxidants. It slows down the production of adrenaline.
Mm-hmm.
And it just puts you into the truth, into
Yeah.
who we really are, that there is no death, even though there's a physical death. There's no spiritual death. Energy doesn't die. Energy can't be destroyed.
Yeah.
And I improved that one.
Yeah, that's another thing. I just want to emphasize what you just said about prayer can be just a simple thank you, because I think, people might think, well, I don't believe in a God, or I don't believe there's something out there to pray to, but everybody can practice gratitude. We can all think about the things that we're grateful for, whether you're thankful to another being or just
Mm-hmm.
thankful in general.
And when, the overused term of thoughts and prayers are with you, if it's said with thoughts and prayers are with you with just like a rote thing, no feeling, that's where people get upset, well, do something, thoughts.
Yeah.
But thoughts and prayers and intentions
Mm-hmm.
do something. And I was thinking, because we're in North Carolina, we're snowbirding, getting away from the winter in Vermont, never expecting this to happen, and being stuck here by the ocean.
Yeah, you're stuck in a really bad place there.
Stuck in a really bad place. I got to show people later, the ocean's right there. It's just how blessed we are.
Right.
I having a life, my husband and I having a life of service and being yogis since the 80s, and hippies in the 70s, our life was always service and love.
Mm-hmm.
And it brought us to a place where we're very grateful every day. We recognize our blessings. Sure, we forget sometimes, but we both practice daily.
Yeah. Well, it's a matter of perspective. I was talking with someone earlier today, and she lives in London, and we were talking about the lock-in. And she's got a daughter. I think she's about 6 years old, her daughter. And you can look at it as, I'm stuck. My daughter can't go to school. You can look at all the things you can't do. But she was saying, I get to spend more time with her.
Right.
We never allowed her to have a trampoline before, but we've given her a trampoline. We're going on bike rides. I've seen people in my neighborhood, more people than I've ever seen, out
Right.
walking and spending time with their children. So we can look at the things that we can't do, or we can look at the things that we can do.
Right on. It's an opportunity, and it's an opportunity for those who are spiritually striving to know who they are. It's the opportunity to be here now and use the time wisely. Wisely.
Exactly.
So yeah, I see people writing on with chalk, "God bless you," and as we
Yeah.
walk the dog around the neighborhood, people are nicer. So it does happen in a crisis too.
Mm-hmm.
So get to the top 10 tips. How simple is this? When the solution is simple, God is answering. All
Yeah.
right. So this is kind of a daily routine, but first and foremost is creating a sacred space. Mentally knowing that our soul embodies this physical thing I have here that we call the body. It's my soul that's so big. People forget. So when you're in this pandemic and you're isolated or quarantined, you can be thinking, oh, I'm stuck, like you said, or create this sacred space. Hopefully your whole house is your sacred space. And then when people walk in, when they are allowed to come in again, they'll feel the energy uplifted. People come into our house and just say, oh, feels good to be here. And yeah, it does. We feel good to be here because we're creating a space where consciously, if there is an argument or disagreement, and there's plenty because we're two different personalities, two different fingerprints, but we've learned to communicate, and walk away when there's tension, and then come back and talk about it, and then go back to synchronicity again, or balance again. It's seesaw. You want to be in the center of the seesaw. So when it's moving up and down, you go into the center, and the fulcrum keeps you even. And that's how you want to live life, like that. So create that sacred space, whether you have a corner of your apartment, your one room house, even if it's cluttered, and you're a hoarder, you want to have a corner that's not cluttered, has an altar or a little table or a place where you put a crystal, an oil, essential oil. An EO is an essential oil, a high frequency vibration, a picture of something you love, things you love, just things you love, and people you love. And then when you meditate in that space and go to that space, or just walk away from the argument and go to that space, the energy you build up in that space is there. So you walk in, it's like taking a breath of fresh air, just in some sunshine where there was darkness and clouds, you're going into the sunshine. So that's your little sacred space, whether it's a corner of an apartment in the middle of the city, or it's a castle and every room, is gorgeous. Leonardo, actually, he loved the finer things in life. He wore the best clothing he could purchase. He used all his senses. His art showed that difference between the shadow and the light.
Right.
And he said that most people walk around and they don't listen to what they're hearing. They don't really get the fragrance of what they're smelling. They don't really observe what they're seeing.
Yeah.
They don't really taste and nurture what they're eating. They don't feel what they're touching. Their senses are dead. Most of us, because we're brought up, don't know who we are and don't know we're a soul experiencing all our senses in this body. He really made it beautiful to think about life like that, too, that your senses are divine, and to use them and be more attentive, be more mindful, be more attentive, be more aware, And I have a friend who did a magazine that I wrote for in the 90s called Conscious Living. And that's what it's all about, conscious living.
Yeah.
So step one, top tip one, water.
Yeah.
All right. Water is the essence of life. 1 and 2 is water and breath, and they can be flipped. But I put water first because when we go to bed at night, we keep a glass of water at our nightstand, both of us, and it's important for everyone to do. And guess why? We dehydrate completely at night. We dehydrate when we exhale because if you go like this, there's moisture on the mirror, right?
I never thought about that. Yeah.
So not only sweating and, moving around all day and urinating, and all that normal stuff, but just, breathing, we let out moisture. So we need to take a sip once every 5-10 minutes. And hydrate. If I drank this whole glass now, I wouldn't hydrate as well as sipping a little bit all day long.
Wow, that's a good point. Yeah.
And when we're thirsty, drink it up. I put, maybe some orange citrus fresh. This is a red shot, Ninja Red Shot. It's antioxidants. And they have not only high frequency, but when you drink the water and you're hydrating, here's what's so important. Right. And this is from Candace Pert that I learned this, Dr. Pert. Our bone marrow makes our immune system. That's where it starts. And the spleen is like the brain for the immune system and balances all the water in the body and the white blood cells and the lymph nodes, and it all works. And it needs to be hydrated. So to balance and to find peace and to the electromagnetic charges that are going on for those neuropeptides and the neurons in our brain. We're 70% to 90% in our brain water. And the water needs to be, it flushes out the toxins, it recharges us. But most important, messages in water. If we know about Dr. Emoto's work, messages in water.
Yes.
Right. So here's where it goes with our thoughts again. They magnify in the water in our body.
Well, for our listeners that don't know, the doctor took some vials and put label, or it set intentions to the water, and it actually changed the structure of the water. Is that correct?
He did scientific tests under the microscope, projected into the computer screen that showed contaminated water from the river. When they took a picture of it and saw it under the microscope, it looked like little demons. It really has ugly, dysmorphic shapes with black spots. It was horrible. That same exact water, when they projected love with their hands and then put the word love and a glass of water over the word love, that same water changed its molecular structure into beautiful crystals within a certain amount of time. It took some time, but the water changed with the word and the intention. So think about it. That's the whole basis of what the bleep do we know. If nobody's watched that movie, watch it now, because it talks about the messages in the water of our body and how, those thoughts magnify and amplify our moods.
Right.
So the negative thoughts, again, that take it to a negative place, or a positive thought that takes it to a positive place, but just peace. If I've always said, since I've learned my energy centering, that even if you're not happy, you can stay peaceful. You can observe the unhappiness. You can observe the emotions. You can observe all the thoughts that are going on, or just feel them and then go back to remembering, what did I think to feel this way? But that's conscious living. That's being aware of our thoughts and aware that we need to hydrate every day. And that helps us feel more peaceful.
Okay.
We just need to flush out the stuff that we don't need, and that keeps us balanced and hydrated.
Okay.
So then we come to our breath. We can live without water for several days, but our breath, seconds to minutes, our breath will be gone. So I don't know if your viewers know how to do diaphragmatic breathing or conscious breathing, but
it'd be good to review. Yeah.
If you put your hands on your belly, on your navel, let's see, we back up a little bit down here. whether you're sitting or lying back. It's easier to learn this when you're lying on your back on bed or a couch or something. But if you close your eyes and inhale down to your lower abdomen, you'll raise your hands up. You're not moving your hands, you're holding your hands there. And as you inhale, you raise your hands up through your lower diaphragm, the lower abdomen. Then you fill up the mid-thoracic area, and then your lungs and rib cage expand up to the neck. So you've got like a balloon. Here's the neck of the balloon. You're breathing into your lower abdomen, filling it up. It feels like awkward at first because we're not used to doing this since we're babies. But as babies, you watch them, they'll breathe like this.
Yeah, I've heard it called belly breathing.
Belly breathing, deep diaphragmatic 3-part belly breathing.
Mm-hmm.
So try that, close your eyes, breathe in slowly and count Om 1, Om 2, Om 3. See how long it takes to fill up. Hold it for a second or two, and then exhale in reverse. Exhaling your rib cage and lungs. Your lungs and rib cage will go down, then the mid-thoracic area, and then the lower abdomen will go in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like an accordion. It's going to go in and out.
Mm-hmm.
And the counting's important. We learn this in yoga. The Om 1 is 1 full second. Om 2, 2 full seconds. The Om, or Aum, A-U-M, really, is the sound of the universe. It's creation, existence, and dissolution, the sound of the 3 in 1.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you just say Om 1, it calms you down. Just the sound Om will calm you down. So if you breathe in, count and see how long it takes you to fill up. And you can fill up and exhale the same amount at first. And as you get more advanced, try exhaling twice as long as you inhaled. So if you inhale to Om 4, you're going to exhale slowly to Om 8.
Okay.
Inhale, and it'll increase. You'll inhale to Om 5, then exhale to Om 10.
Okay.
6 and 12. At one time I did 10, 20. You start stretching. You start stretching your body and your lungs, and it's expanding it and contracting it. And
so is this something you can do while you're meditating, Judi, or do you do this like once a day? Or?
That is a meditation.
Right.
That is to slow you down if you're nervous or someone's making you nervous or you're nervous from your own thoughts. Try just closing your eyes, going to that little altar area, or for me, I just step out on the porch.
Yeah.
And just breathe fresh air. Be alone when you do it. Be in your sacred space when you do it.
Mm-hmm.
Or lie on your bed, shut the door. But you can actually do it standing up when people are around if you need to.
Yeah.
You can't escape people. I do it all the time when I start to get nervous. I just go right into my breathing. Mm-hmm. So that's the 3-part diaphragmatic breathing.
Okay.
This morning when I woke up, I had watched The Late Show, to see my jokes at night. And the cat woke me up about 6. Bill was up about 5. So I only got about 5 hours sleep. And I knew I couldn't go back to sleep. And we had this podcast. And I was tired. So I did the rapid fire breath. Do you know how to do the rapid fire breath? To wake up the brain?
Is that the dragon breath?
Dragon breath. We studied in the American Yoga Conservatory in the 80s. So it was all American. I didn't learn the Indian words, but we called it the fire breath.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of that. Mm-hmm.
So you take one deep diaphragmatic breath,
mm-hmm.
and you're going to exhale through your nose, short little breaths in and out as your diaphragm is contracting. And you do it rapidly through your nose, and it wakes up your brain. So it's something like this. You squeeze all the air out at the end.
Yeah.
And then you do 3 of those, 2 or 3 of those, and you're awake.
Yeah.
So That's the rapid fire breath. There's also Nadi Sudi. If you excuse me 1 second.
Sure.
Nadi Sudi is alternate nostril breathing.
Oh,
Now, this is really important because it gives energy to both sides of the brain and it taps into different areas of the brain. So you take just a nice deep diaphragmatic breath. If you want to do it with me, you'll hold. We learn to hold like this, but you can just hold with 2 fingers if you want. But you take a deep breath, hold one nostril shut, and exhale slowly out of the other nostril. It's a complete exhalation, hold that and breathe in the other one. Hold that, exhale. Now breathe in. Hold that nostril, exhale. Breathe in. Close it and exhale out the other. We'll do it one more time. Breathing in. Closing it, exhale. You can close your eyes for a moment. Close your eyes when you're doing it. And just breathe normally and see how you feel.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hi there, I'm really excited to tell you about my latest ebook. It's 4 lessons that you can learn from the near-death experience without going through all the trouble of dying to learn them. I've been studying NDEs for several years now. I am completely convinced that not only are they 100% real, but that there's some very universal wisdom that we can get from the near-death experience. And I've distilled that down in this book into 4 short lessons. And I've also given you all the reasons why I believe that NDEs are absolutely real. So go to www.grieftogrowth.com/NDE lessons to pick it up for free. www.grieftogrowth.com/NDE lessons. I hope you enjoy it. Yeah, I actually, there's a app I use called Insight Timer, and it's got all these different meditations on. I've done that type of meditation. I forgot what it was called, but I've done it a couple of times. And it is really amazing how quickly these breathing techniques will change the feeling you have in your body.
It's called pranayama.
Pranayama. Yeah.
Pranayama, Nadi Sudi, alternate nostril breath. And yes, the breath and the mind are intimately connected.
Yeah. Yeah.
Slow your breath, you slow your mind and your body.
So I would encourage people that are listening to, like I said, to follow some of these techniques. And you said you can do them anywhere at any time when you're feeling, stressed out. And it'll make, I used to have panic attacks, and I wish I'd known these techniques back when I was having them on a regular basis, because they can calm you right down.
Immediately. Don't need drugs. Just control your breath. It goes into meditation. So that's pranayama and the breathing techniques. And even we'll talk about yoga and doing stretching and all that.
Mm-hmm.
That all prepares you for meditation, because what it actually is concentration and awareness, conscious awareness, and stepping back to observe yourself, from your soul vantage point, observe what you're thinking and what you're doing and be more consciously aware of integrating it. So slowing down really helps. The focused intentions and gratitude, that's the piece that goes along with the messages in water and the breathing. Because when we wake up, the first thing I do, have the drink of water, because you forget to you breathe, you're waking up, and you can have a dream journal or journal and just write your dreams if you like, when you're waking up and you're in between that state. That's a good thing to do. So you have the water, you wake up, you do the breathing to set your mind in motion. And then you can go right into meditation. Usually, we wash our face, wake up a little bit more, and then we sit and do a formal meditation. And formal meditation is actually, it doesn't really happen until you can concentrate. When you can concentrate on one thing, whether it's Om, Ama, Brahmasmi, Om Namah Shivaya, these are all Indian terms that have American meanings, that, or English translation of Om Namah Shivaya. They're all spiritual. It means infinite being, infinite intelligence, infinite manifestations. So whatever you're focusing on, whether it's a Sanskrit mantra or just the sound Om, you want to repeat that over and over in the center of your brain. You're focusing, or the tip of your nose. You close your eyes, you focus in the center. Why the center? The pineal gland in the center of the brain is the creation of ourself, really. When our soul comes into our body, that's the center of the brain, the master gland that brings us into heaven, basically. So when that opens up into our heart center, we focus there and just start feeling this expanded feeling of love.
Yeah.
Usually our minds wander.
Yeah.
What's going to make for dinner? What's going to have for breakfast? And then just keep bringing it back to the mantra without chastising yourself or, saying, I can't do this. We had one student that would say, my mind just doesn't stop. It just doesn't stop. It keeps going and going and going. That's okay. Just keep watching it. And eventually you slow down enough to just stick with the mantra. And it's been said before, and I've heard it on your podcast, and it's true. It's the space between the thoughts, the no brain, the no mind. There's just this space of feeling love and expanding this love. So, we've been taught that when you can concentrate on one thing, one positive, uplifting, spiritual feeling and thing, when you can concentrate for a certain amount of time, and it's different for everyone, it opens you up into a meditative state where there are no thoughts. There is no mantra. It's just this bliss. It's just this expansive feeling of bliss. And that generates and stays with you during the day. So this opportunity to be isolated and not allowed to go out and quarantined and all that, what a blessing that we have time to meditate more. I mean, really, what's the excuse?
Yeah.
People may have to work on their computers and do work from home, and that's great. And I've just began to do some telehealth conferences and therapy with people online, one at a time, But we have at least 3 times a day that we meditate now. And it's just, even when we're just relaxing, I think I would say when we come to it, turn off the TV and the news, but I'll come to that because you want to know what's going on. Yes. So you can get your fix, figure out what's going on, but there's more to that we're going to talk about. That's very negative, the energy that comes in. So your sacred space, you drink your water, you learn how to breathe, you meditate, you have focused intentions on gratitude. You could just count the things in your life that you are grateful for, just the ability to be alive and not be sick. And if we are sick, the ability that our mind over matter can change it with the right nutrients and all that we'll come to. The important thing is just to be conscious about it all. This is a blessing. It's a time to remember who we are. This is a time that all of us can remember who we are. And I said it was Good Friday before because it reminded me of the cross, the symbol of Christianity. And that cross, I really learned long ago, somewhere, spiritually speaking, that the cross represented our connection with heaven, or our vertical connection to our higher self. And the horizontal was our connection to all of humanity. So what a good time on Good Friday to be saying that this is really about the sacrifice we are all going through to help everyone else, be uplifted and to bring to generate peace. If we can sit in our space and hold the energy of peace, we're doing more for this planet than the doctors, not more, as much as the doctors and the nurses that are doing there. And wouldn't it be nice if they learned this?
Yeah, I think what you just said is profound, because we're going through this and a lot of us feel helpless. As I was saying earlier, we're told the virus is everywhere and we need to be scared. We need to look out for it. And we want to know, what can we do? And we feel like sitting in our house is not doing anything. But I said this on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. You should feel productive when you're sitting in your house, right? Because you're not spreading the virus around. And you can set positive intentions, and you can actually grow while you're going through this process. But this is one time when you can save the planet by watching Netflix. You can just sit on your couch and watch Netflix and do something productive.
That's another tip, watching comedies and laughing and doing podcasts like this, and all the time we have to do it. We're really blessed to do this. So holding the energy, being conscious is profoundly affects the rest of the planet. I remember being taught as a young meditator that, there are some masters in the caves in the Himalayas who are just meditating day and night, holding the energy for the planet. Mm-hmm. And they are just as productive as the people who are running around working. In fact, more than productive of those people, because they actually are holding the energy that's helping everybody. Mm-hmm. So if we can share this is profoundly important.
Yeah.
Important. It's a time that we can help each other this way. So my energy meditation, the ECM, or the energy centering meditation, has to do with our huge auric field, and what we don't know, we need to know about the energy systems that we have, right? The closest I could explain to it is in acupuncture or acupressure in Chinese medicine 5,000 years ago, when it began by psychics who could see the energy running through people's bodies, and documented it and charted it on a map and made points on it. That's where all it came from. Did you know that?
I did not know that, yeah.
So it's energy that people could see with their third eye, that pineal gland that was open and could see into the realms of the layers of our energy. So we have a physical body, we have an ethereal layer above it where the energy is transmitted in and out. The next layer is the emotional layer. Our emotional body is out beyond that. The mental body is out beyond that. And the astral body is beyond that, where the dream state is. Mm-hmm. Then we get into the higher realms. I have a little picture of it. Can you see that?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Right? So we have the etheric template, the celestial, and the causal. There are 8 layers of our energy body, as well as, 7, and the 8th is the causal, or the highest plane of connecting with God, when it's all one. We have 8 chakras. Can you see that?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So from the base chakra to the crown chakra and our higher self, there's 8 centers in the body. Mm-hmm. So there's 8 centers in the body. There's 8 centers around the body. Then we have 12 meridians, 2 vessels and 10 meridians.
Okay.
That go through every organ of the body to keep it alive. Like the lung meridian goes through our lung, the large intestine, the sex and circulation, the thyroid, the heart, the small intestine. All these energy centers, the governing vessel and the conception vessel, they're moving constantly. And this auric field around us has, what I learned from my acupuncturist, extraordinary meridians. So we have this grid, literally,
okay.
grid of energy. And it's all circulating and moving and keeping the body alive. The mind, the greater mind, has created this body, and we've come to this planet, and we are here to walk the earth and remember who we are.
Yeah. And when you say mind, that's mind with a capital M.
Capital, right? The greater mind,
right.
The greater mind, the causal,
right?
The cause of it all. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting that this, etheric template before the astral plane is where the exchange is from the higher realms to the physical realms.
Mm-hmm.
But the main point is, as a system, in and out, this is, we're connected with everyone and everything.
Yeah.
So your mood and your state in the Midwest can be affecting my mood here. We're only a thought away.
Yeah.
So it's important. And I developed the energy centering meditation because I learned in energy psychology. Did you know there is an energy psychology?
Yes.
And that's the tapping techniques.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned an advanced evolving thought field therapy, it's called, which muscle tests for where the disturbance is in your body. Mm-hmm. So instead of guessing, oh, you're moody today, or you're sad today, or you're depressed today, and what should I do for you? Let's talk about it. Talking about it helps to some degree, but when the energy's stuck, you can actually touch a pressure point on the body and move it seconds.
Yeah.
Within seconds.
Yeah.
So tapping works for that. Bilateral brain stimulation, eye movement, back and forth, processing thoughts, like in REM sleep, when we dream, our eyes are moving back and forth. Well, EMDR is consciously doing that. I'm just talking about that because of movement and how everything moves, and to get messy, it has to move.
I want to interrupt you for a second, Judi, because I think your talking is always so fascinating, because you, as you said in your Shiome Therapy, you combine these ancient things with very modern things. And you just went from acupuncture to EMDR.
Right.
And we are learning and building our body of knowledge. And what I love so much about talking to you and the Shiome method is that it takes those things, those ancient traditional techniques, and combines them with the things that we're learning about, from all of our electronics and the things we have now,
right,
into a very healing system that can take advantage of both worlds.
Right. So I'll go back to the physical next, but before I get off the energy, and I want to share that whole energy centering meditation with you,
Mm-hmm.
because I learned from energy psychology that there's really 6 pressure points that we use for the emotional body that help balance us within seconds.
Yeah. I want to get to that. Yeah.
So my husband does Reiki, and we listened to David Router the other day, who does the elevator technique, going down and grounding with it. It's all to balance our energy system.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever works, I like to get as much information, then make my own from it, like a synergistic. My teacher said I'm like his grandmother made chicken soup. What's in it? A little of this and a little of that, but I do have to make it into a system that I could teach other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so, yes, we need to be aware of our energy. Energy is everything. Energy affects us from everywhere. So when we do this energy centering, and my technique, it's about creating a sacred space within our field around us.
Yeah.
And using our fingerprint, our soul print of uniqueness that forbids anyone to come in if we don't want them. And allows us to go everywhere as we want to.
Yeah.
But it's a choice. So sometimes we need to just seclude, as we are, but even in our own homes where we're secluded, we need to seclude in our own space, our sacred space, which is our energy field. Because, it's to close off the grid a little bit, connect with our higher self, of course, with everything and all loving higher vibrations, much as that as you want. I'm talking about the lower vibrations and the negative vibrations that we don't want. So we have a choice to do that, and we can.
You touched something that I thought was really interesting. You were talking about how my mood here in Ohio can affect your mood there in North Carolina, and how we're all connected. And I keep coming back to this with the lessons this virus is teaching us, and physically it's showing us how close we all are. I think we sometimes think the world is such a big place, and it's showing us how small the world really is. And I think about Swedenborg, and he always talks about correspondences. What happens in the spiritual, what happens in the physical corresponds to the spiritual. And what we're seeing with this virus is a guy sneezes in Wuhan, China in November, and the whole world is sick in March. Right. And it's showing us that we all are connected. And then we're talking.
If I can just add to that, or make an adjustment to that, we're
Sure.
not all sick. We're not all sick.
No,
Yes,
right.
a great amount of people, thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of people who are ill. Not everyone is dying.
Right. Yeah.
Compromised immune systems, are the most at risk, which we know.
Yeah.
So what we're teaching here is to get our immune system from the bones, from the core of our bone marrow to the edge of our auric field strong.
Yes, absolutely.
There's germs all over and there's viruses all over.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't mean to say that to imply that everyone is sick. I'm just saying we're all aware and we're all on lockdown because we all are connected in a way. I think you're right. And I think I said that earlier. We are a lot more powerful than we think we are. We're not helpless. That's why you and I are having this conversation, because we're not helpless against this thing.
Right. And, I might get picayune sometimes because I'm aware of generalizations.
Mm-hmm.
I hear people saying, I tried everything and nothing worked except this. That's because you tried all that, but didn't know about maybe there was something else. But whatever works, use it. Yes, use it.
Yeah, exactly.
But we have a lot of power, like you said. We have a lot of power to put out there.
We do.
To calm the fears. So, all right, our daily, we're up to like 5 now. We did 4 tips. The 5th is conscious eating. We have to eat, right?
Mm-hmm.
I learned a long time ago, living in an ashram in a spiritual community, of being grateful and being aware and raising my awareness. And I developed my own prayer before meals. And I think it was David Rowder or someone said to have a prayer after meals too. But it's just conscious eating is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So when we have something put down before us, and even if we just take a piece of fruit off the tree or, wherever, to bless that food with your own thoughts and intentions and focused intentions to say, thank you for Mother Earth who produced this. And then, you can go from the farmer who raised it to the distributor who brought it to the store, to the clerk, to the truckers who brought it, cross country.
Yeah.
You want to go through your mind at least once that this train of energy that came from the very growth. Thank you for the sacrifice of the plant or the animal.
Yeah.
I say first, and thank you to all who brought it to me.
I think that's really profound, and I want to echo that because growing up as kids, we were taught blessings, and you thank God for the food, and I've heard people say, "Well, God didn't produce the food," and we could argue that. But the fact is, when I started studying Buddhism, I heard this idea of mindful eating, thinking about, okay, where it was grown, who grew it, and especially these days, the people in the grocery stores that are standing there, selling us the food, and the truckers who are bringing us the food are crossing state lines, in a time we're all locked down. The DoorDash delivery people that are bringing food to us, the people that are working at all those people, they're all extremely important, and we should be grateful to all of them.
And everyone we bless and say thanks to, we're giving them good energy.
Mm-hmm.
Send them light and protection. We can ask the highest light of protection to surround them and support them. And so when I say thank you, I ask that the highest good come to them for their service.
Yes, absolutely.
And then may I take this food in and use the energy for my highest good and the highest good of all.
Mm-hmm.
And so as you're bringing it in, and I'll even say, and for my best weight, for assimilate to my perfect weight and nutritional value.
Mm-hmm.
You could take it as far as you want or need to.
Yeah, absolutely.
By blessing it. And I will tell you, this is not scientific, but I'm sure I've eaten places where other people got sick in a restaurant and I did not. I don't know, maybe I just believe in the light. And I do believe that there are powerful mind over matter where we can just stay safe, keep ourselves safe, and bless that food and be protected from the germs that are going to come in and go out.
Yes, I agree. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's conscious eating, and chew it till it's liquid. Doesn't matter if it's 100 chews but at least consciously chew it and let it become the water that can assimilate better in the body. And then, it also has to do with digestive enzymes. Do you know we don't have digestive enzymes that many as you get older, over 40, almost none, they're depleted. So it's good to take digestive enzymes. We take short-acting, long-acting for protein and vegetable, but we have this great digestive enzyme that we take at every meal, or at least the big meal.
Okay.
So minerals and nutrients that you need: potassium, magnesium, calcium, salt. Those are trace minerals, because trace minerals help go into the cell and bring in the nutrients into the cell through the cell wall. So you need your trace minerals, ionic minerals. They could be liquid minerals that are hundreds of minerals that float, but we need trace minerals every day. Even the little emergency, they say for when you have a cold, that has trace minerals in it with vitamin C, little sugars in there, but buy ionic trace minerals anywhere, and just look for a good brand, go organic when you I believe the world needs to go organic. I mean, one of the reasons we have these viral things going on is because of the upset of the balance on the planet. Too many chemicals, everybody just, thinking they're doing the right thing with overdosing with chemical cleaners and chemical this and chemical that. You can do everything with natural remedies. And I would even just plain out. We went and bought grain alcohol from the store, so I could make my own hand purifier with some aloe vera gel, drops of thieves oil, clove, and cinnamon, and alcohol. I think what's 7% alcohol is enough to knock it out. I forget.
It's 60% ethanol or 70% propanol, I think is the numbers.
So, just be conscious what you're doing to kill stuff, and it's not going to kill you.
Yeah.
My husband and I have this standing argument. Well, now don't care, use Purell and all that. But I think if you overdose with Purell and chemicals, it's going to go into your body and it's not going to be healthy. Use stuff that's natural.
As much as you can. Yeah, sure.
And if you can't, of course, use the other. But so that's the conscious eating and using things. Right? So 6, we get into just what do we do to stretch and exercise? We have to, walking is the best because it's bilateral exercise. You're tapping both sides of your brain as you walk evenly, and it brings peace. It brings peace. If you can't walk, or there's problem that you're not able to walk, you can squeeze your fingers right, left, right, left, right, left, or tap on your knees, right, left, when you're nervous. And it's like taking your brain for a walk. Also used in bilateral brain stimulation for therapy, but this is just bilateral for peace.
Yeah.
Bilateral for peace, because it doesn't let you think too much with that left hemisphere, and it doesn't let you emote too much with the right hemisphere. If you get too emotional, the adrenaline goes into the amygdala of the right brain, and you get that surge of adrenaline and toxins and oxidizing going on. So you do a little of this, do your breathing, slow down, and you'll come into peace and balance. And that's your good antioxidant for the day. 7, I put music, because between classical Baroque music in the background, the music that soothes the soul, in super learning, Sheila Ostrander, and is it Sheila Ostrander? And the two authors, it'll come to me, but they did super learning, the books on super learning and the experiments with super learning. Okay. That if you put classical 64/4 beat, it's the heart rate beat, the classical Baroque music in the background, help the children in school gain better testing when they had that music on and they did breathing, and they breathe in the information and exhale, let out all the junk that, and they did this experiment, and they proved that the music helped memory and helped the learning process in the children that did it versus the ones that didn't. Wow. So whatever music you want, you might want to put some on to dance. You might want some fast music. If you're going to do fast and loud music, dance. shake it out. Don't absorb it and get all stressed out. Just dance away and have fun and shake it off. So whether it's art, put the music and arts together, because writing, drawing, take some time to play, whether it's in a sandbox or whether it's finger painting or whether it's anything you want to do that's creative, even journaling, to get out there. That's important to do every day, or at least have on your list of tips to do when you have nothing else to do. Pull out some music and dance and creative arts. That's important.
Yeah.
And 8 is what I said earlier, and you said too, shut off CNN and Fox and MSN and all the news channels that are, especially CNN. I'm very upset with them, of showing the virus behind them,
Yes.
Attracting, you like attracts like. So it's like they're growing the numbers as they're showing that thing, and people are freaking out. And
I saw yesterday on Facebook, someone had done a meme of white blood cells, because you've seen so many pictures of this virus in the last couple of months, right? And I saw someone did a picture of white blood cells, healthy white blood cells. And they're like, focus on this. Instead of focusing on the virus, focus on your incredible immune system.
Yes.
And I forgot who it was. I heard the other day say, you come from, I think it was Greg Brayton. He said, you come from a long line of survivors. You wouldn't be here if your ancestors weren't survivors. Your body was built for this. And I think we need to focus more on that. Yes. I actually posted that on Facebook a couple of days ago, and someone kind of came at me and said, well, there are people who are immune compromised, and we need to take this seriously. We do need to take it seriously. And there are people that are immune compromised, but most of us are not. And most of us have a very robust immune system that is built to take this thing on. So you need to, I think more like, if this virus comes after me, I've got the system to shut it down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And, those experiments, there's tons of experiments to prove the mind over the matter and how we create. And that's what we talked about in the beginning, our intent, our vibration, everything has either a high vibration or a negative, low, and reverse vibration. So we want to be on the positive and keep a high vibration. Bacteria can't live in the sunshine, you know. And that's important, that's interesting to note that this virus can't live in the sunshine.
Yeah.
The warmth of the sun and our spirit can, repel.
And we're not hearing, like I said, we're not hearing enough about our immune system. What happens when this virus does actually get to our bodies? Our bodies starts war against it. I mean, we've got all these systems that are built for this.
Right in place. And that's so important, what you're talking about. It falls in line with what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. If we're in peace, if we're in balance, we've got all the tools we need to fight it.
Yeah.
It's when we're out of balance. Why do people have compromised immune systems? They're out of balance somewhere. There's a dis-ease that came usually over a long period of time. It doesn't just come on, although it seems like it. It's that after a while, all these compromising chemicals and things that happen in life and stress and thoughts create this bombardment of stress that something falls.
Yeah.
Just can't take it. It's like chop, chop, chop the nervous system. I talk about the 2 T's. Yeah, there's the big trauma, like I suffered a couple of years ago, big fall, big cut.
Right.
That's a big T. But there's the little T's, every day, daily stress, every day, people arguing, every day, fighting, blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden, a little kid's nervous system just falls.
Yeah.
And then another part of us gets up and says, well, I can take it. And then it happens again, chop, 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 fall. We just can't take it.
Yeah.
And for children, all that I'm teaching here is important to teach our children by modeling it. Mm-hmm. Everything I'm saying helps your immune system. Everything I'm saying helps keep us strong and healthy and peaceful. And peace is the strongest. And this all creates peace in our life. So those funny movies, watch comedies, watch. That's why I stay up late show or tape it, and I or watch them on the podcast, or watch them on YouTube, or anything you can do to laugh and lighten up, is going to help yourself and each other. That makes you strong. It helps your immune system to do that. I have 9 as well under the media. And investment, 9 is investment in our time. Where do we invest our time? So when you're doing all of the other, you'll notice I'm not on Facebook a lot. I used to say I was Facebook phobic, but I'm not phobic. It's just, I had to get into a rhythm and a ritual, like Leonardo said, you be in a ritual. So at night, maybe I'll do social media, check out Facebook, or maybe in the morning, after meditation, check out whose birthday it is, and send them a well wish. So the Facebook, FaceTime, phone time, writing time, actually writing letters, and mailing them, or a card, or an email. Those connection times, those social connections are so important. We're not isolated. We have to physically distance. I like that better, saying we're physically distancing, because socially we're actually connecting more through the social.
Well, that's a really good point too. I'm actually busier than ever the last couple of weeks. I'm on Zoom all day long, because we are able to, and when I give them my gratitude, one of the things I'm grateful for is the fact that I can reach out to people. Literally, I was talking to someone in London this morning. I'm talking to you in North Carolina right now. So we can do this. We've got that. We've got this opportunity to really reach out to each other. So while we have to be physically apart, we can still be energetically together, which is just as good. I mean, really.
We really are only a thought away.
Yeah.
I learned a long time ago the closest distance between 2 points. When they say, what's the closest distance? A straight line. No, it's a thought. The closest distance between 2 points is a thought. And so we connect just by thinking of someone, their energy is there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's important. And so spend the time to share the love and share those connections with each other. That's helps your immune system.
Yeah.
It helps you. And the last is rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
Rinse and repeat, and literally rinse, because a bath, who was talking about the lemon bath, David Rauder?
Yeah.
A saltwater bath with Epsom salts or sea salts, or, pink salt, and essential oils in the water, to take a nice bath and rinse off all the crap from the day, or even the thoughts. I like taking a shower after a bath and then washing my hair. Your hair is actually electromagnetic. It holds energy. So
Not mine.
Yeah, well, if you have hair, even the little root, even the little tiny stuff.
Yeah.
But it does collect. You have your beard, so
Mm-hmm.
the mustache that has energy. So you do collect energy on your hair, on your body.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good to wash it off, as well as for cleanliness. It's for energetic reasons. You want to wash off that energy and shake it off, wash it off, and rinse and repeat. And when you go to sleep at night, meditate before you go to sleep. If you can't meditate, just breathe. Lay there and do diaphragmatic breathing till you fall asleep.
Yeah.
For people who say they can't sleep, well, you might have to get up and do something, maybe write, get it off your mind, whatever's on your mind, write it down, get it off. That's a transmutation of energy.
Yeah.
So once you do that, you want to go to sleep in a happy mode, a peaceful mode, read spiritual books, read things that are uplifting. It's all about the energy.
Yeah.
Love is all that's real.
And one thing I want to say to people, because this might sound like a lot and it might sound overwhelming, but it's really a practice, and take what works for you. And I think you touched on this earlier. We can each customize our own regimen, what we decide we want to do every day. And for me, it's become a practice, and I make it a habit. A lot of the things you talk about, I do. I mean, I do my gratitude practice before I get out of bed in the morning. So I have a practice where I say 3 things I'm grateful for when I get up.
Yeah.
I do a 7-mile walk. And during my walk, I'll listen to podcasts, or I listen to uplifting music, or I'll just walk and do like a walking meditation. Right. So for everybody, customize what works for you, and make it a part of your everyday routine. This is a good time to get started, but a better time to get started would have been a year ago. And I'm really grateful. For me, I started about 5 years ago doing these things. So when you do get to these stressful times, for me, I feel like I've got a pretty well built up to deal with it. But it's a really great time to get started too.
You don't want to be overwhelmed, like you said. These are tips, and I'm going to write them up and put them on my site, and just have top 10 tips.
Yeah, I think they're great.
Drink water and eat consciously. These are things you can do. It's just like you said, if you haven't practiced, it's a spiritual practice.
Yeah.
So once you start practicing, building up that muscle, that spiritual muscle, it stays with you. And I'm really grateful that we've had years of this practice. And so, the seesaw may go down and up a time, but it goes into the center much more quickly now.
It's really a shift in perspective too. I was talking with a client the other day, and she was feeling, very isolated, and she was feeling a lot of anger, and she was writing me about, how she was feeling about, because we're all isolated right now, but she lives alone. And we were talking about some trauma she'd had in the past that she was angry about. And in the past, she would try to stuff that anger down. And I said, well, no, just go ahead and feel it. It's okay to feel the anger, to acknowledge the anger, and then to let it go. So when we're saying these things, we're not saying don't feel all the feelings. You want to feel those feelings. But if you could start to kind of look at it from a different perspective, from a little bit higher perspective, and kind of watch yourself feeling the feelings, it takes the trauma out of it.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought up feelings too, of course, in my line of business. One of the simple things to do with your feelings also is, say you have all this anger and tension and don't know what to do with it, but yes, you can gestalt, right, and rip up paper. There's things you can do to transmute it, like I said, to write it. But if you take a piece of clay, modeling clay, not Play-Doh, that gets hard, but a modeling clay that always, you can leave it for weeks and then pick it up. It'll be hard when you get it. If you're angry, you take that thought, let it go through your hands and into the clay, you put the clay in two, and just keep squeezing it and feeling the energy of the anger go into the clay. Mother Earth will take it. She takes a lot. And all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, but after a while, this process of getting it into the clay starts to get hot and soft. You start to feel more relieved and nicer, and softer and more peaceful.
Yeah.
Then take that hot clay. You don't want to just leave it like banging a pillow. You just want to leave it because that energy is there. Take that clay and change it into something beautiful, whether it's a flower or a boat or a little piece of artwork, a sculpture, take that clay, make something nice out of it, transmute it, put it there, on your little mantle or your altar until the next time.
Yeah.
And then grab it again and, do it again. That's a great way to release emotion.
That is. I hadn't heard that before. I love that, transmuting it, because I've always said, get it out. So for me, I would go out in the yard and do yard work or something. But yeah, that's even better to take it and transmute it into something else.
So speaking of transmuting, I wanted, if I can have time, to share the energy centering meditation. Do we have time?
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, sure.
Right. And I need to explain what we're doing.
Yes.
Right? Because when I get tense like that now, I don't really need to go to the clay anymore, did my anger work.
Yeah.
But what I do is the 6 points, and I made it 7 points. So we call it 7 steps to heaven, but the first point is the mental body point, which is on your chest. If you take your right hand and place it like you're pledging allegiance, I actually made up a different pledge of allegiance that I'm going to share with you. It's pretty cool. But you rub up to your left shoulder. I'm your mirror image now, but so, you want to go to the right, clockwise, up to your left shoulder and down. Okay. Within 20 seconds. See, when you're angry and upset and emotional, your mental body is like this and stuck and sometimes reverses. If you stay in an angry state or a depressed state for a long time, your mental body, this energy around you, starts reversing, going backwards. And then you're in a funk, you can't get out of it. This little point changes it in 20 seconds. It brings the mental body, it's pumping your bloodstream and your lymph nodes and your circulation system and your lymph system. It's starting to move it physically, which then moves it emotionally and mentally. So 20 seconds, boom, you're done. Yeah. So that's the first point. The second point has to do with your brain. And they're right next to each other, so it's easy to do. And usually in 40 seconds, 20 seconds, I'm feeling better. I don't need to do all 6. Or you can just think it through eventually. Your thoughts will change the energy. But in the beginning, because you aren't used to it, physically, you want to tap into it. So the mental body first, Then the brain, there's kidney points under the collarbone. If you take your fingers, feel your collarbone, go down about an inch, you'll feel two little impressions.
Oh, yeah.
Those are called kidney points. They help the kidneys function, the water, the fluid, but it accesses the brain and takes you into the center brain. So within 20 seconds, you can go from peace to calm. I mean, from chaos to calm, right? So we use that. That's the second point. The third point is the base chakra, which is, and I'll show you when we go out by the ocean, but it's correcting the base chakra, which is your root chakra, and the crown chakra. It's the two ends of the spectrum of our energy body, below us and above us. It's balancing that. That's what the third point does. And it's for support and balance. So the fourth point is the small intestine meridian, which is on the side of the hands. Now there's meridians all over the body. There's pressure points all over. We're just picking these and they work beautifully. So the small intestine meridian holds on to small thoughts that don't go away. Those thoughts that keep repeating and repeating and repeating. It's energetically like the small intestine of our body, the organ, the small intestine. The small intestine is supposed to digest, right, and assimilate food into nutrition. Well, the small intestine meridian is supposed to digest thoughts and let it move. And so when it gets stuck, this pressure point opens it up and helps it release within 20 seconds. And the fifth point is under the nose, the governing vessel. It helps the present. That's about be here now.
Okay.
If we're worried about the future and regretting the past, and our mind is going from past to future, we're not here now. Well, the governing vessel, this treatment point, helps us steady that governing vessel that governs the here and the now to stay here now. And the last is the conception vessel that moves up the body. Conception meaning the concept of ourself, the conceiving of who we really are, and feeling worthy or not. So when we're feeling unworthy, when we're feeling bad about ourselves, our conception vessel is usually off.
Yeah.
So again, within 20 seconds, it fixes it. And then we tap it all in to make it stay for a long time.
Wow.
So you ready to do it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. I'm going to take some oils with me. Can you see the ocean?
I see the ocean. Looks beautiful.
Everyone see the ocean? I mean, that alone, the salt water to bathe in or to smell, it's enough to balance everybody.
Yeah. We'll imagine it for now.
Imagine the smell. Yeah. Close your eyes and imagine the smell. And think about creating a sacred space. If you close your eyes and breathe in, this is about accessing your soul. So go to your highest power. Imagine a star over your head with your name on it. And bring that light, as you breathe in, bring that light into your body. That's what we're doing. Bring the light from above and below and from all around, but especially from our higher self, from the highest realm. Bring it in. And I'm going to use some valor for courage and strength.
Okay.
So I'm anointing. To anoint means to pray. To pray and anoint is an intention. So valor, my intention is to stay strong in these chaotic times. So I anoint on my palm, I activate it clockwise, and I just breathe it in. And within 20 seconds, it goes from the receptors of the nose into the brain within seconds. And then I'm going to place my hand over my chest, pledging allegiance. You want to join me?
Yeah.
Okay. I pledge alignment with my higher self and to the union of all souls in the universe. To the uniqueness we each represent, one frequency in divinity, one fingerprint in humanity, with unconditional loving awareness for all. Voila.
Yeah.
20 seconds. And we could say, next, to stay peaceful, I use harmony. Anoint a little bit. Let the energy go to everybody for harmony. And take a little bit and put it on those kidney points under the collarbone.
Mm-hmm.
That's my crystal for grounding. And you take one hand and hold on the navel. Can you see?
Mm-hmm.
And 2 fingers on the kidney points. Again, it only takes 20 seconds. So as you close your eyes and go inside and think about this sacred space we're creating, we're asking to please stay peaceful. And you put it in your own words. If my words don't resonate with you, put it in your own words. I ask to stay peaceful through these chaotic times. Help me stay in the center. Help me stay in this sacred space, no matter what. Even when I'm emotional or upset, help me observe my thoughts and stay peaceful, no matter what. Help me stay centered and focused on the truth, now and always. Thank you. Voila.
Yeah.
The next, I use forgiveness. We're going to do a tree pose, and this is a stretching pose. It balances the base chakra and the crown chakra, like I said.
Mm-hmm.
Activate with forgiveness for a reason. We're going to stretch up, take a nice stretch. You can do this sitting down, but you know, this is good. You're going to tighten all the muscles in your body, even your facial muscles, from your head to your toe. Squeeze and stretch. Strengthens your brain. Put one palm of the hand on the navel and one palm on the base of the spine. And if you can't reach, if you have problems, just think about it. You don't have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Or reverse your hands if it hurts. Get as close as you can. Feet about a foot apart. We're going to pretend we're a tree, a beautiful tree with the roots going deep, deep into the earth. Feel those roots spreading into the earth. As we say, thank you, Divine Mother, for grounding me and supporting me in your light. Thank you for creating this body with your elements and for all the nutrients and nourishment that keep it alive and help me stay healthy. Please forgive me for forgetting to say thank you every moment. Thank you for all your support, your divine support. Thank you. Help me remember to be more gratefully aware. Then we're going to stretch again.
Okay.
Be that tree. Feel those roots spreading deep in the earth, base chakra wide. Now our crown chakra open high and wide in the sky. Tighten every muscle in the body again, from the face to the feet, fingers and arms, torso. Tighten up. Then exhale and reverse your hands.
Okay.
The opposite palm on the navel and the spine, the base of the spine. Think about the crown chakra open to the sky. As we say, thank you, Divine Father, creator of all, source of all. Thank you for creating my soul in your light. Thank you for my life force, my spirit, that's always been and always will be eternally loving and divine. Thank you for all this beauty, the air that I breathe, my life force. Thank you. And please forgive me for forgetting who I am every moment. Please help me remember and be more gratefully aware every moment. Thank you. I'm going to take a little release. The frequencies are so high, they uplift the spirit quickly. And we're going to put the release on that small intestine treatment point.
Okay.
We can do this without the essential oils. I just find it enhances it.
Yeah.
And it smells beautiful. And as we hold this point, think about any disturbing person, place, or thing. Think about this virus. Think about all the negativity that people are bringing around the globe. And we say, I am releasing all of it now. I'm sending it all into the light, into the light, into the light. I'm releasing all disturbing people, places, and things. I'm releasing all negative thoughts and feelings and issues. I'm releasing all that does not serve me and my highest good. I'm releasing it now. Let it go. Just feel it go. I am replacing it with the highest light of love. And feel the light coming in from all directions, from below and above and all around into the center, the solar plexus. Breathe it in. Let it flow through the body. Let all the light sparkle on all the waters of the body, radiating from every pore of the skin in all directions. Now, I am here now, releasing all that does not serve me. I am replacing all darkness with light, all fear with love. May I radiate this light now and always. Thank you. Present time for the governing vessel. Activating it. We're going to take it on the pinky and put it under the nose. Do it with me and hold one hand on the navel.
Okay.
And feel the governing vessel. It comes from the spine and over the head, comes down to the nose. And all the light coming in from heaven. I am here now in the light of love. I am here now, and I'm always here now. I've released the past up until this moment. Help me keep the wisdom I've gained from the past with me now and always. I'm creating a future on this earth right now, in this present moment. Help me stay here now, in the safety and protection of the highest light of love. I'm here now, safe now, in the highest light of love. I've always been and I always will be this soul, here now and always. Thank you for helping me remember. Inner child. Because we all have an inner child that gets scared. And we all have an inner child that's stuck from somewhere, that hasn't grown into the awareness that we have now.
Yeah.
So we're going to hold under the lip, right here, between the chin and the lip, in the middle. One hand on the navel. The navel, by the way, as we hold it, all nerve endings around the navel go through the whole body. I deserve to remember who I really am at all times. My inner child deserves to know who we really are, the truth of our soul right now. We deserve to remember that we are all unique, divine creations of the highest light of love. I am uniquely divine, and I deserve to remember this at every moment. I deserve to honor myself as I honor every other soul's uniqueness. Thank you for helping me remember my true self now and always. And then we're going to tap it in. I've learned if you hold the third eye with one finger, the top of the forehead, right above the third eye, with another finger, and your other hand will go to the top of the head. These are governing vessel treatment points. You can hold it or tap them to tap in the energy and set it so it stays in a positive direction for a long time. You can keep tapping all day to remember. Help me conceive of the sacred space, believe in my highest power, and achieve my highest potential now and always. And so be it, and so it is.
Wow.
Namaste.
Namaste. Judi, that was really powerful. I think that's an excellent meditation. Now, is that something that's available? Could people get that from you?
I have an energy centering meditation CD with my voice on it. It's a little different. I did it a different way when I first recorded it in 2005. Now I have the essential oils and a different sequence, but it's the same points though. They're the same.
Well, I think that's something that people might want to get from you to just be able to sit with and practice, on a regular basis.
A free PDF of the points and the directions of how to do it. And of course, like I said, you put it in your own words, because if it's not true to you, it doesn't resonate as powerfully. So put it in your own words. You can say, I'm just beginning to learn to do this. And eventually you'll say, I am.
Yeah. So people can reach you at judith.appointments@gmail.com. Is that what you like? Where you like for them to email you?
Best place to email me, and I can answer you. And
and I also want to say, there is so much that you know, Judi. Let's look at your website, what you're certified in. So I want to encourage people to go to shiome.com, and that's SHIOME, or go to judithhancox.com. You can find out more about what Judi has to offer. And Judi you do work with people one-on-one, and you work through grief and you work through trauma, as well as all this, the healing things we've been talking about today.
And I had offered, as a gift for people who are really stressed out and really need help, I'll do the energy centering with you, help in any way I can, from where I am.
Yeah, it's. I feel calmer just talking to you. I feel like I learn so much every time I talk to you. So I really appreciate you doing this today and taking all the time that you've taken.
Thank you. And there's so much more, So yeah. And on my website, by the way, when I wrote for Conscious Living back in the 90s, I have a list. I have some of the articles that I wrote. Some are really cute, like Winter, the Heart of Winter. And I had one I was just thinking of, Shiome. What is Shiome? There's something special. Read something special and you'll find out where the word Shiome came from.
Yeah.
The dolphin.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think we kind of covered that in our last interview. And like I said, I'll put that in the show notes so people can find the last interview that we did together.
And I want to mention her because she's a power animal. She's a spirit. And I don't want to take that lightly, and just discount it like, oh, yeah. No, when I do forget her, I am reminded that she is. And that's powerful because a dolphin represents, and a big mammals in the water. Just think about this. The sounds the whale makes on one side, one ocean can reach another ocean from the Atlantic to Pacific. The sounds travel through the water. The dolphin represents joy, just this joyous being that's powerful and intelligent beyond unbelievably what we could imagine. So this infinite intelligence, this infinite power, this infinite love, that's what I call the source.
So if we go to shiome.com, where do we find the story about Shiome on your website?
My website was just changed, but it'll say articles published. Click on articles published, and you'll see a list of articles that I wrote.
Okay, cool. Yeah, well, I definitely encourage people to check that out. Judi, again, it's been an honor and a privilege to have you back on. Appreciate everything, all the healing that you're offering to people, all the things you do for helping parents heal. And you and Irene are just powerful people. And your view of the ocean. Thanks for sharing that, because it's not that great in Ohio right now.
Yeah, just enjoy it. Suck it in.
Yeah.
Suck it in.
Judi, you have a great day.
You too. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
All right. You have a good weekend, too.
Peace be with you.
Peace be with you, too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the episode. I want to make it really easy for you to reach me. So just send me a text to 31996 and simply text the word growth, GROWTH. In fact, you can right now just say, "Hey Siri," send a message to 31996, and when Siri asks you what you want to send, just say growth. You can do the same thing with OK Google. Thanks a lot. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks for listening to Grief to Growth. Brian hopes that you find this episode helpful and will come back for future episodes. Brian's best-selling book, Grief to Growth, Planted Not Buried, is a great resource for anyone who is coping with grief or knows someone who is. If you enjoy the podcast and would like to support it, there are 3 things you can do to help. The first is to share the podcast with someone that you think it will help. The second is to go to iTunes, rate, and review the episode. The third way you can support the podcast is by becoming a patron. Head over to www.patreon.com/grief2growth. That's patreon.com/grief, the number 2, growth, and sign up to make a small monthly donation. Patrons get access to exclusive bonus content and knowledge that you are helping to spread the message of grief to growth. For more about Brian and Grief to Growth, visit www.grief2growth.com.
Hi there. I hope you enjoyed this latest episode of the podcast, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. What questions came up for you? What did you like about it? What didn't you like about it? I invite you to visit us at grief2growth.circle.so. That's grief2growth.circle.so to continue the conversation with me and with other listeners. It's a space to sound off, to share reactions, and to go deeper into the topics from the show. I look forward to chatting more, and I hope to see you there.